History shows us that there have been many revolutions. A revolution is a new kingdom, a new administration coming into town, if you will. And history shows us that there's been one revolution after another. One overthrow after another. One new kingdom after another. In fact, if you were to look at history from the beginning of time, there's the rise and there's the fall of kingdoms. I remember one of my history teachers drawing this on the board, and I'm glad he did because I've remembered it ever since. And he just drew this cycle. One circle next to another with these arrows showing one kingdom rises, the other one falls. One kingdom rises, the other one falls. One kingdom rises, the other one falls. And the one thing that all of men have in common throughout all of history, including our nation and all nations before us and all nations after us, is we don't think we're part of that cycle. We're all thinking, well, we're just going to keep doing like this. And at one point, eventually, it's going to start to turn. And it's going to start to turn. And why is that? Because man's revolutions aren't revolutions at all. All of man's revolutions are just a new set of people with the same old ideals. Every single administration ever in the history of man to ever rule has the same exact ideals. It's just different people at the top. It's money, it's power, it's politics, it's causes. The causes may change a little bit, but it's still man's cause. It's still man's desire. It's not a real revolution. That's why many of you who put your hope in political figures are disappointed. That's why many of you who put your hope in a system of government find it falls short. Because you're not looking to the one who offers a true revolution. Jesus is offering a true revolution here in the garden. Jesus is breaking into history and showing us the new priorities. Jesus is bringing a whole new reality, new priorities, a new list. He's showing us what's important to God and what's not important to God. And He shows us in the garden. The question for us this morning is, do we share Jesus' priorities? Do we understand His kingdom? Think about all the different characters in the garden right now. You have Judas. His kingdom is money. We are told in the Gospels that Judas was the keeper of the money. He was one of the first executive pastors. And he kept the money bag, and we're told he's stealing from the money bag. We are told that Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. We are told that Judas is the one who was upset with the woman who cracks open the expensive perfume and pours it out on Jesus' head. That's Judas. He's doing it for money. We have Peter. We love Peter. We all think we're like Peter. I don't think we're as bold as Peter. Most of us aren't. Peter takes out a sword, we're told in the gospel, and cuts a dude's ear off. Yeah, like, that'll teach him. 499 more men to go. That was like the 300 right there for Peter. And here is Peter. His idea of the kingdom is, I'm going to protect my friends. Jesus is my friend. I'm going to take out my sword and protect him. I'm going to take on this whole company by myself. That's man's kingdom. See, what happens is, Peter heard everything Jesus had to say about the kingdom. And then when it came time to practice those principles, to look Judas in the eye and say, friend, Peter was unwilling. You want to know why? It's because he merged the two kingdoms together. He took the kingdom of God and he wrapped it up in the kingdom of man. Yeah, Jesus, I believe you are who you say you are. I believe that you're leading a revolution. Yeah, I'll love my enemies after I cut his ear off. After I kill him, I'll go ahead and love him. And what Peter did is he did what we all do. He merged two kingdoms together so that he could have a compromised form of Christianity. And that is what many of us have done. We merge it together. We follow the kingdom while it's convenient. And then when somebody ticks us off enough, when somebody has betrayed us, when somebody has hurt us, when somebody has committed a sin against us, we merge the kingdoms. We start swinging the sword around, hurting everybody around us. Jesus tells Peter and the disciples, what are you doing? We're told in the Gospels, when you put them all together, he stops it. He says, if you're going to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. He tells his disciples, he tells everybody there, don't you know that I could have called down legions of angels, take all these guys out? John tells us that when Jesus says, I am he, when Jesus stands forward and says, I am he, the whole crowd as a miracle fell down because of the power of God. Jesus demonstrates this kingdom that of yours, this kingdom of man, is not my kingdom. My kingdom is not of this world. What don't we understand about that? Jesus has every chance. I want you to, let's fast forward a little bit. He's standing before Pilate. Are you a king? This is his chance. This is his chance to grasp at the power, at the political heartbeat. This is his chance to form the revolution. And he's asked, are you a king? Jesus says, I am a king, but my kingdom is not, what does he say? Of this what? World. And yet, for 2,000 years, the church has done its very best to make God's kingdom of this world. And we've gotten into a lot of trouble for it. Jesus says, my kingdom is not of this world. I have different priorities. I'm going to put others ahead of myself. I'm going to love my enemies. I am going to serve and sacrifice. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. I'm not going to repay evil with evil, but I'm going to overcome evil with good. I will give up all that is mine. I will not hold tightly to it. I will not lord it over others. I will come in weakness, humility, suffering, and rejection. These things are at the top of Jesus' list. The bottom of ours, the top of his. That's why none of these men in the garden understood what was going on. Are these at the top of our priority list? Jesus is the first true revolution, and no one in this garden understood it.